We are here today with Sean Van Horssen. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
That is how you say my last
All
name.
right, we are here today with Sean Van Horssen, and he is a NPC athlete. You just competed in the Colorado
Cup.
Cup. Okay, and
show.
tomorrow you leave for Pittsburgh for nationals.
Yes, I'm very excited. It's going to be quite the journey. It'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to mostly just the experience and seeing how well we can do, man. So
Yeah, well, I'm super excited. I've pretty much watched you go from like 250 pounds to what are you weighing at right now?
I was 185.3 this morning.
That is so ridiculous.
So, and yeah, I mean, I'm bone dry. I'm glycogen depleted. I'm just miserable right now. But.
Yeah, you literally look like a different person.
Oh yeah.
I would not recognize you.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
I definitely. It's and you get this too because you've cut pretty hard for like shows and stuff too. It's more like mentally draining, but it's so rewarding when you finally get there. So that's why I love it so much, and I'm just happy to be where I'm at, and then also super happy about eating carbs tomorrow. So that's like what's keeping me going here. So excited about potatoes.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to have Sean on here because he works out at the same gym as me. We both live in Bozeman, Montana, kind of in the middle of nowhere. Bodybuilding is not really much of a thing at all up here, would you say?
No, not very much of a scene up here. There's probably like I could count on two hands how many people that like are legitimately into it other than just hobbyists. So yeah, for sure, like probably one hand.
And is this going to be your third competition?
This will be four.
This will be your fourth. Okay, because you did nationals last year as well.
I did. I qualified for nationals last year.
Okay.
But then they changed the rules. So because of COVID, it was top 5 qualified for nationals. And I got 4th in my open class. And then they changed it back to the original rules this past year, which is top 2. So I had to re-qualify. The plan was this year just to do nationals. So I actually wasn't planning on doing a regional show at all. But plans changed and ended up hopping into the Colorado show, timing it so it was close with a national show, and it ended up working out because I mean we're going to nationals. That was the goal. So yeah,
that's awesome. I think that would you say that it's the leanest that you've ever been? Period.
Oh yeah, by far, man. It's crazy. So even at the Colorado show, which was only 2 weeks ago, I was probably on stage about 4.5%. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
And I'm pretty dang close to like 3.5 right now.
Yeah, I would say nuts. You have nothing left on you.
Yeah,
there's nothing left to give.
I'm lighter than my stage weight or what I weighed in at. So
that's so crazy.
I'm pretty excited to see what I look like after I carb up.
Yeah. So how has this prep been compared to your other ones in terms of like mood, cravings, all those different types of things?
It's been different. So this would be the first prep I can honestly say that I like took the time to enjoy the process as opposed to like focus on the end result. I took the time to like really put the details into each workout and really put the details into the plan with my coach, and I ended up eating about 1,000 calories more than I was.
I remember when you were doing your last one, and it was you were like 10 weeks out, and you were on like 1,600 calories
I was
or
just
something.
Over dieted.
It was crazy.
We learned a lot from the last 2 preps, and I've had the same coach the whole time. So this one, we knew that for me to keep my size, because what would happen is I would keep my size of my legs really well, but my upper body would just shrink. So this prep, we stayed around 2,800 calories for most of it. I was eating close to 3,400 calories until about 8 weeks out.
That's really good.
Yeah, so my metabolism was really well primed. And then now we're down to, it's peak week, so it's a bit different. But I'm still at 2,000 calories.
That's not bad.
Yeah, which is where, and I'll be up to 2,500 tomorrow, and then we'll taper back down again. So.
Gotcha. Wait, you said 2,500 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So the carb up, we go. It's kind of like a mini refeed for a couple days, and then back to baseline.
Okay.
And then I'll eat whatever the hell I want. So.
Gotcha. There you go.
Yeah.
That is super exciting. But you said that you were struggling like with your sleep. Is that something that just started, or have you been dealing with that for a couple weeks?
That, I think it's mostly just like it's like a mix of excitement about going to nationals, North Americans, and then stress as far as like my body hasn't fully recovered from the last show, because you peak, it takes a while for you to recover from that peak, and when you have a show within 2 weeks, you don't really get the chance for your body to just like bounce back the way it should. And then I did have a big meal after my last show, so my ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone essentially, was kicked back on pretty hard.
So then you were starving?
So I was waking up at like 2-3 in the morning, just like hungry, just wanting food, and I couldn't sleep because I was hungry.
Dang, I've seen that happen to quite a few people. I remember, I don't think people understand how hard one show is, let alone two in a row. Like, I feel like after your first show, there's this massive relief where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm done. So then you take a couple liberties, and those liberties can destroy you for the next one. Just absolutely wreck you. They can wreck your motivation to work. They can wreck your ghrelin, like you said, and you can go in like way fatter to the next show than you were eating less, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's really, really hard to compete in 2 in a row. I'm scared to do that. I haven't done it yet. I'm trying to avoid doing that just simply because I know that as soon as I finish one show, I just want to be done for a while.
Yeah.
I just want to be done.
There's something to it. I mean, man, I had mixed feelings about it, because I immediately, so I ended up getting second. I didn't win the Colorado Cup, and it was close. The judges had a split. I'm guessing the scorecards still aren't out, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, that is weird.
Just from what I heard the judges saying while I was on stage, they liked my legs better, but the guy who beat me had a better back. Mm-hmm. He was about 9 pounds heavier than me, so he was a big guy. So that being said, when I got off stage and I was in second, I got to know this guy backstage in between prejudging and finals, because we knew it was between me and him. So we just, started talking before we got out there for finals, and super nice guy, salt of the earth. Very happy for him to win. So it wasn't a reaction where I was like upset that I lost. I was just happy to have qualified. So the first thing I did was I called my coach and was like, look, I just qualified. Nationals is in 2.5 weeks. What do you think? And in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to do it, and I had the motivation, but I did need that diet break. Like, there's no chance I could have just not had a big dinner. And I'm talking, I had a big dinner.
How big was it? What'd you have?
I had like a...
Let's hear it.
Oh, man. It was... I would venture to say I probably ate about 3,000 calories that night.
Oh, that's still not even that bad.
Yeah, it's not too
What was
bad,
it, though?
But we went to like a really nice steakhouse, because the rule was if I didn't qualify for nationals, we're going Cheesecake Factory, right? And I'm just going,
of course.
I'm going nuts.
Everything on the menu.
Yeah, exactly.
That menu's huge.
Yeah, that's what I did after.
There's like 10 pages on that menu.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh my goodness.
But really nice steakhouse. the nice thing about steakhouses is they serve you unlimited bread. And this bread, I'm telling you, man, I had like 3-4 baskets myself.
Dang.
And then we ended up getting like baked brie. And I was there with my wife and then my dad and my stepmom. So the girls wanted baked brie. The guys wanted bison meatballs. So that was our appetizers. Very good. And then I got a 16-ounce ribeye. It was a giant steak. I got
awesome.
mac and cheese on the side. And I got, I was a little tame. I did get asparagus instead of going with the potatoes.
Just to, get rid of some of that extra water.
Exactly, that's right. And then we went to Cold Stone, and I just made this crazy concoction. It didn't even really taste that good, but you have those cravings. You're just like, I want everything in there.
Yeah.
And so it was like kind of a cruddy ice cream because I put too much stuff that didn't make sense together in it. It was like graham crackers and also like, I don't know, like gummy bears.
Like sour apple ice cream with chocolate.
Like, why did I do this?
My go-to for dessert after a show is always the birthday cake remix from Cold Stone.
Yeah. So I almost just got that.
It's so good.
But
it's so good.
I needed that diet break for sure. And then in the morning we went out to breakfast with my mom. And again, I kept it tame. I had like an egg white omelet. But I also had a couple slices of French toast. And I think that's actually probably what kicked my ghrelin on was the second meal.
Interesting.
That was fine. Like, I wasn't even craving anything. I just love French toast. And I saw it on the menu. I was like, yeah, I'll get some. Just only 2 slices. And then, like, the rest of the day, I was just hungry.
Yep.
I was like, oh, man. So.
Yeah, that's too bad. It's weird how stuff like that can work, though.
Yeah. So I'm excited to definitely take a long off season after this long bulk. Join you in the year.
Join me in the bulking lifestyle.
Exactly.
So excited for that. Having an absolute blast so far.
Yeah, you've been
feeling
good,
chunky already.
You're staying pretty lean as far as I can tell. I mean,
I appreciate that. I try to keep it clean, but I don't know. It's like so mundane. Just the act of not immediately looking better. Because when I cut, I wake up the following morning and I can see it. Yeah. And it makes me so happy. Versus now it's like every day I look a little bit worse. Just like a little bit worse, and I know that it's just gonna be a long road ahead.
Yeah, you're doing good though. I saw you mound down those baby carrots when you were cooking the banana bread.
Oh yeah, yes I do. I snack on those all the
just
time.
Mowing them down,
staying lean.
like,
that's the key. Is just have a bag of baby carrots wherever you go.
Or celery,
Yeah. So what have you been doing to cope with the sleep problems?
Oh man, honestly, last night was probably the worst. I was in Helena for my dad's birthday. I forgot my melatonin. So I take 3 milligrams of melatonin. It's really not that much. I mean, pretty low, but
it's something I try to be careful with.
Yeah.
I've gone through a couple phases over the past couple months because I'm not sure, a couple people might know about this, but I actually had like a panic attack 2 weeks before my show. Okay. I was in the ridge. I was hitting legs, and I had a really bad panic attack. It led to like a smaller panic attacks like after that.
Serious
and
pain.
it really freaked me out because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do my show. Like, I can't do my show. Like, I'm going to die. Like, I'm not going to be able to do my show. I'm not going to be able to finish it. You know, those, like, psycho, anxious thoughts that you start to get. And it just sort of, like, it threw me off really bad for a couple days. I was able to pull it together the last week. My wits came back to me, and it was totally fine, and we cruised through the show. But I really started to struggle with sleep those last couple weeks because I'd be sitting there falling, like, getting ready to fall asleep. And then I'd be like, I need this sleep so bad that I need to fall asleep like right now. And then you can't fall asleep. I didn't sleep a lick on show the night before showtime.
Yeah, I never
literally
do.
none.
I never do.
Literally none. And it's so sad because part of me thinks like, I wonder how much better I would have looked if I would have had like eight hours of sleep. It's so sad.
So what do you think spawned those panic attacks?
I Honestly, for me, looking back on it, I can see pretty clearly that it was a combination of marijuana and caffeine. So I've had like anxious. I wouldn't call them like full on panic attacks, but I've had like anxious bumps in the past when I smoke marijuana because it makes you sort of depersonalized a little bit, and so it's affected me in the past where and sometimes I'll get like a little bit too high and I'll be like whoa and I'll kind of freak out a little bit. But then I've also had panic attacks induced by caffeine, and so I was running marijuana to help me sleep, and then I was doing caffeine to try to get me through my workouts. And so one day I happened to do them both within like 24 hours, and it just like tipped my anxiety over the edge. Yeah, and it's too bad because like I love marijuana and caffeine. I'm like very very hypersensitive to, so I have to be careful. Like even with fairly low stem ones like this, where you can take like one scoop, it'll still hit me like hard. Even if it's just like I think it's like 175, but you can take 2 scoops, and then it's a lot. But I don't know. I prefer the pre-workouts that are like just pump.
Nonsense.
Yeah, I prefer.
I remember all the pump caps. That's what.
I take a lot of pump caps. I take a lot of pump caps. I freaking love those things a lot. Yeah. Yeah. So I would take like around 3 milligrams because I don't screw around with melatonin. Like melatonin is weird. Like
you can have some weird dreams.
You can have weird dreams, and you can also take too much to the point where it keeps you awake. Yeah. And I've made that mistake before, and so I just try to stay away from it as much as possible. But it's a weird balancing act of being like, well, I want to sleep good tonight, but at the same time, like I don't want to rely on this. Yeah. Because the more that you rely on it, the past 3 nights actually, I'm coming off because I was traveling for a while. I went to the lake and I went to California, and when I'm out, I've gotten into the habit of taking those just to help me fall asleep, and it's not a good habit. But then I come back here, and now it's like my 3rd day when I've been able to fall asleep without it. So that's good. I try not to take more than 3.
Always easier to fall asleep.
At some point, melatonin just becomes like a placebo. It's like, for me at least, like I have to take like a little bit. That's what I've noticed when I'm weaning off of it. I'll get down to like 1/8 of like a 10 milligram pill, and I'll be like, I'll just lick it. It's just like that's makes me feel better. I don't know, makes my brain think that it's getting more melatonin than it is.
I pretty consistently take 3 a night, and then if I like lately I've been having trouble, so I'll get up to 5. If I go anything past 5, I get that issue where I can't sleep. And then I got this. I won a Instagram giveaway. I don't know, like Chemex. Oh really? Yeah, have you heard of the company Chemex?
I feel like I have.
The Gorilla Chemist. He's kind of the guy who came up with glucose disposal agents.
Oh, initially.
Interesting. So he's got his own company, and he's got a lot of interesting supplements. They're like not really well known, but they're all really science.
So glucose disposal agents, you like take those after like a high carb meal or something?
Yeah, and it shuttles the carbs into your muscles.
Does that work? I've heard more supplements like that coming out. Yeah. Do you notice that it works pretty well?
I mean, I used to use Glycolog by Blackstone Labs quite frequently when I was bulking, and you could like feel like your pumps are crazy. It's nuts. So I definitely am going to start using them again during my bulk, because I do feel like it makes a difference. But anyway, he's got a supplement they sent me for the giveaway. It's called Cortiblock, and it blocks your cortisol receptor. So you take it before bed, and it shuts off your cortisol response.
That's interesting.
The only side effect is it makes you
very horny.
Violently poop.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so,
it was one of those two.
You know,
it was one of those two.
Yeah, it's not much better, but about like for me, it's about 12, 14 hours after I take it. It's an emergency. Every single time, I was just like, I gotta find a bathroom. I gotta find a bathroom.
Interesting.
So, and I listened to a podcast with him talking about it. He's like, yeah, it's just part of what it does.
Makes you poop.
Yeah, makes you poop, but does a good job blocking your cortisol. So that's been helpful.
Interesting.
And then other than that, like if I'm having a really tough time sleeping, I try not to do it during prep. I will use marijuana occasionally, but like try to keep it as low as possible.
Yeah.
Just because that you can you can form a dependency pretty quickly.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I don't know. My relationship with marijuana has been very like up and down because it's I'm a pretty like high, I don't know, like I'm a stressed out person a lot of the time. Just like naturally I have like so many things that I want to do and like so many things that I like feel like I'm not doing, and so I'm just constantly trying like to juggle all these different things in my head. And so I feel like the most at peace I've ever been was like when I've been high. When I smoke and it's just like I am at peace. I feel like I can just like fully relax and de-stress. But then also probably 10 minutes before I feel like that, I'm like freaking out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. So it's really bizarre. It's like something that elevates my anxiety for me, and then it usually tanks it. So it's very, very interesting. I usually go through that wave, but I don't know. I've had a up and down relationship. It's hard for me to, I would say I've never smoked it more than once a week. Like I've kept it very, very minimal, and
I have. I went through a phase, for sure.
I feel like most people do.
Yeah.
The only thing that kept me from doing it was just access in high school. I didn't have any access.
I never did.
Very, very little.
I never drank in high school. I never did any drugs in high school at all. I didn't smoke marijuana until I was 23.
Wow. Was there a reason why you didn't drink or anything?
I was got to be a professional baseball player.
Oh, gotcha.
I told myself that forever.
Huh. What happened to
that? I went to college for baseball.
And what college was that?
I went to the University of Mary. So it wasn't NAIA school. The first year I went there, we switched to D2. And we sucked. We won one game. We went 142.
Nice.
And I didn't play during the regular season. I played one game during the fall season, and I was the pinch hitter and the pinch runner. I played outfield. In our outfield, we had 3 All-Americans. So no chance I'm going to start as a freshman. And I got in the game as a pinch. They wanted me to bunt. I was really fast. And this guy nailed me on the finger with a 95 mile per hour fastball.
Oh my goodness! Which finger?
Yeah, right here. You can see the scar there. It shattered my
goodness.
Hand. But since your hand's a part of the bat, it counted as it was in play. So I ran to first. My hand was numb, obviously, couldn't feel anything. Ran to first. The runner scored from third, and I made it to first safe.
Wow.
And we had white pinstripe jerseys, so it was blue and orange were our colors. We had blue pinstripes and white jerseys. And I'm standing on first base, and the first baseman looks at me and he goes, "That ball hit you?" And I was like, "Yeah, it hit me in the hand." And he goes, "You have blood on your face." And I was like, I look down. My batting glove is blown out. There's like a powder of just red that's sprayed up all over my uniform.
Oh my gosh.
It's such a violent, my finger literally exploded. A piece of my knuckle.
What in the world?
A piece of my knuckle was down here.
Dude.
It was nuts. So I wanted to stay in the game because I couldn't feel my hand. I had my glove on. I didn't know how bad it was. It was pretty bad. But the first baseman waved over the trainer, and I was like, damn it. But that was the last game I played.
My goodness.
And then I tore my ACL in the off season and moved back to Bozeman.
It's always the ACL, man.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
But I was 100% convinced I was going to be a professional baseball player for age 13 to 19.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it just didn't happen.
That's so crazy. I can't believe it. So is your whole family from Bozeman?
We're from, so my parents moved to Montana. They're both from the Midwest. My dad's from Indiana. My mom's from Illinois.
Okay.
Chicago area. Both of them are pretty close to Chicago. And they moved out here in the late 80s, early 90s. My dad went to U of M, law school, and then they just stayed out here. And I grew up in a small town outside of Helena called Clancy. And then my parents split up, so I kind of grew up in between Helena and Clancy, back and forth. And then I came out here for college.
Okay, gotcha.
Pretty much been here ever since.
Okay, and your degree's in kinesiology?
Yeah, I graduated with kinesiology, and then I have my master's in sports psychology as well. Yeah.
Gotcha. So how did you, when did you decide that you wanted to become a coach? Like, how far into your lifting career?
That's a good question. So really the impact of that, so I was getting close to the end of my schooling, and I was pretty sure I wanted to be a physical therapist.
Okay. I feel like we all sort of started out there.
Yeah, and that's like I started getting into that. I took a class called Advanced Programming.
Okay.
The teacher, I can't remember his last name. Yes, I do. Robert Wilson. He doesn't teach at MSU anymore, but he was a great guy. And basically just like taught us all about periodization, block periodization, all like these super advanced tactics on how to train athletes, powerlifters, bodybuilders, all this. And I really took an interest in that. So I took it upon myself, and that was my capstone class. I didn't do an internship or anything. So I took it upon myself to find an internship in town, and a gym had just opened up called The Pit that year. And The Pit is an athletic training facility where they train almost exclusively athletes, right?
Yep.
High school kids.
Yeah, I've heard it's like more CrossFit.
It's
more CrossFit
it's
based.
More CrossFit style for sure. But one of the coaches there, his name is Sean Heron. He's actually MSU's head strength and conditioning coach now. He was the head intern, like the guy who managed the interns at the time, and he really inspired me to be a coach because he taught me all about like velocity based training, intensity, volume, effort, all of the Olympic lifts, and like what populations you should do certain lifts with. Just really advance. He challenged me, I guess, to learn more about coaching, and then really encouraged me to take my Cscs exam after I graduated.
I heard that one's like the most.
It's the most sought after,
prestigious.
One, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's,
and it's like long, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's really long.
It's not an easy exam. You have to have a degree to even.
That's right.
qualify.
I forgot about that. You do have to have a degree.
It's like
I wouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah, you probably do alright, to be honest. But it's like I don't know. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to know that like I don't use all the time, which is like this. How far away from a wall does a squat rack have to be according to the NCAA standards?
Oh,
like you have to know that stuff for the test.
7
which is
inches.
Crazy. But the other stuff about that test is like is you have to know like corrective things. So like they'll show you a video of someone squatting just like slightly wrong, and they're like,
you have to
what is
see
wrong
what's
with this
wrong.
person?
Interesting.
Yeah. So it is pretty tough. Definitely had to study for that exam, but I'm glad I took it. I'll never lose that certification because I'll remember that
really
one
nice.
forever.
That's really nice.
I'll even if I do lose it, I'll retake the exam. That's how much it means to me. So
yeah. No, that's a super big accomplishment to have. Yeah. I would say, yeah, I don't know. Do you feel like that preparing for that was almost as helpful as like your whole degree, or was your whole degree like infinitely more?
I would say I use stuff I learned from the CSCS more than I use stuff I learned from my degree.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's one book. If you're like a nerd about exercise, there's a book actually. So you have over there.
I have the Complete Contest Prep Guide by Lane Norton.
So there's a book. It's very similar to the style of how that looks. It's called the Essentials of Strength and Conditioning.
Okay.
And it's by, I believe it's by Robert McVeigh. But that book in itself is like my entire college.
Just summed up.
Yeah, and it's awesome, and
it's called the
Essentials of Strength and Conditioning. I think there's like 8 editions now. I have the 6th edition, but
maybe I should get on that.
It's a thick boy.
Yeah,
I'll just put it that way, and it's not easy to read, but if you're like into learning about hypertrophy, power, strength, the mechanics behind that, like the best ways to build that, it's a great book. And then the other one, that's a super good book on that sort of stuff. I can't remember what it's called. My buddy just gave it to me, but I'm only partially through it, so I'll have to come back with what the name is. But it's more bodybuilding specific. So like Milos Sarchev has some like things to say in it, and then Lee Labrada like gave it a bunch of praise, and there's like a bunch of bodybuilders who are like, these techniques work.
That's
for
awesome.
Bodybuilding, which is pretty sick.
So how did you get into lifting in the first place? Like, what was like the first? What was your first exposure to it, and then like what was the motivation there?
So I kind of grew up in a gym, almost. So my dad, back in the '80s, was Mr. Mid USA. So he was a big dude.
That's a funny name. He's not Mr. USA. He's
just
mid.
Just the middle portion. No, so he was Mr. Purdue. So like a college, they had back in the '80s. They had like college shows because bodybuilding was a bit bigger back then. So he was Mr. Mid USA, or he was Mr. Purdue, and then he competed in an NPC and did Mr. Mid USA, and he won that. And then he decided to go to law school instead of pursue his bodybuilding career. But when he had us, me and my brothers, I have 2 brothers, he was still competing at an amateur level just for fun. So I remember like my first few times in the gym, I was like 6, 7, 8. And my dad would literally just throw us in like the racquetball court or the basketball court and go lift, and we would just go screw around for a couple hours. Every now and then we'd like pop out, and he even show us how to do like I have some core memories of him like showing us tricep push downs and dumbbell curls.
That's awesome.
Stuff. So I kind of grew up in a gym, and then started to lift for sports for baseball around 14. And then I started getting really serious about lifting when I was 18, because I got invited to go to college, and I was only 160 pounds. I was very small, and I knew I needed to put on some size. So that's when I started to get more serious about it. An injury occurred. Then I got into powerlifting. Then I got into Olympic lifting.
Yeah,
and then I got into bodybuilding. So.
Wait. Okay, so you went from powerlifting to Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
To bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
So which one of those has been your favorite? Because I've watched you squat. Your squat's insane. It makes sense why your legs are so big. You have the perfect leverages. Like on your squat, it's literally the perfect powerlifting squat.
That's a lot of powerlifting for sure. But my favorite for sure, and the reason my favorite is bodybuilding, and the reason why I'm doing bodybuilding right now, is it's much easier on my joints.
For sure.
And I'm a sucker for a challenge. So like the discipline outside of the gym compared to the discipline inside of the gym. Between powerlifting, Olympic lifting, and bodybuilding, you can't screw around outside of the gym.
Yeah, that's
you gotta be on
true.
100%. So I like that aspect. It also gives me structure. Like you said, you kind of need those breaks from time to time. Like, and don't get me wrong, after the show, I'm not starting my off season until like. I have like a plan written already, and I'm giving myself a week to just ignore it because I'm like I'm gonna eat what I want, and I'm gonna put on a little bit of weight, like bad weight, but
how many pounds do you think in that first week?
I'm gonna try to keep it tame.
Under 30.
Under 30 for
All
sure.
right.
Yeah, under 20. I would
Gotcha.
say I'd be happy with putting on 10, 12 pounds.
Okay. That's not bad.
No, it's pretty tame. But, yeah, because I gained 25 after my first show. I don't want that to happen again. But I am going to, I'm not going to fret about tracking my food. I'm just going to eyeball stuff for a bit.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm also super excited to get on an off-season plan already. So I don't know, something about I just feel called to bodybuilding more than I felt called to the other things.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot easier on your joints. I look at power lifters and I'm just like, I couldn't do that because I feel like you're not going to be able to do it for very long. It's just it's crazy. The amount of I just feel like it's so single-minded when you're on bench, squat, and deadlift, and it just all revolves around that. I could not power lift. I love bodybuilding. I will do it till the day I die. But there's something about powerlifting that turns me off so much. I could never do it.
I don't know. If you're really numbers driven, I feel like that's where you get
that's got to be it. Yeah. It's got to be the numbers.
Because you can get consumed with the percentages and today I'm doing 5 sets at 80% and I'm taking a 2-minute rest exactly on the you get consumed with that with powerlifting pretty easy. But I'm just not a numbers guy.
Yeah, I'm not either.
So,
that sounds super unappealing.
I'm the classic. Give me the vanity muscles and I'll be weak. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the same. I just want to be stronger than the average dude, and then we're okay.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I mean, the average dude. If you look at the state of the average dude right now, it's not saying much.
Yeah, it's not too good. The height's going down.
Yeah.
The body weight is going up.
You know what's crazy compared? Because I'm a bit older than you're 23.
I'm 21.
21. Yes.
I shouldn't say that I turned 22 in October, so it's coming up.
So
I'm gonna be old, and I'm still living with my parents. I have I invite people over for podcasts in my parents' house.
Hey, invite people who are almost 30 and your parents.
22 years old, baby.
But no, I mean I am 29, and when I was in high school, wasn't cool to go to the gym. I don't know if you've noticed, but
it's completely changed.
It's the coolest thing to do is go to the gym.
I don't want to toot my own horn or anything.
You started
I started it. I most definitely started it. I remember when I first got on TikTok. I used to think TikTok was the stupidest thing ever. I was like, I'm never doing that. It's the stupidest thing ever. Never touching it. And then quarantine happened. And we were so bored out of our minds, and I hopped on TikTok, and I was going through everything. And I'm like, this is actually really, really entertaining. I like the format of this. It's super entertaining, and I think one of the reasons why people are so obsessed with TikTok is because I think a lot of people got into it during quarantine because it was super boring. It was super, super boring. Everybody sort of used it as a way to communicate almost while nothing was going on.
Yeah.
And during that point, I was scrolling through there, and I was like, nobody posts anything about fitness on here. I'm like, this is crazy. And so I immediately started posting a ton on there, and that's why my followers went all the way up to 300,000 followers. I was one of the first fitness guys on there, and now I'm washed up, and now I still have 350,000 followers. I'm telling you, now I'm old. I'm 21, dude. I'm washed up. The kids don't like me anymore. They think that I'm old, and I'm they think I'm on gear. They're like, somehow you have acne, so you're kind of one of us, but you're not because you're so much older.
Prepubescent gyno.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, but I have noticed a massive change. The gym is now a sport. It's just going to the gym is a sport. Going to the gym just to hang out with your buddies is one of
socialization.
It's a socialization time now.
Yeah, which is annoying at times.
It's annoying when you live in a city where we have 3 different gyms to choose from, and there are 5 teenagers to a bench press.
Yeah.
It's like,
or just standing in front of the fly machine.
Exactly.
The single fly machine
Yeah.
in the gym.
Exactly.
It was like, why are you doing this?
It's so funny because like I love it so much, but at the same time I
I
hate it so much.
Yeah.
Like they bug me so much because they're like in there and they're not really doing too much, but I love to see them in there, like getting exposed to it. So it's such like a bittersweet moment.
Cool that you're here, but now that you're here, just do the gym stuff.
Yeah.
That's why you should be here. That's what you learn.
No, I have 100% noticed that difference.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a cult now.
When I was in high school, I went to this gym. It was called Tiny's Gym. 24-hour, like, just give you a key card. I think I still have the key card, actually.
There you go. Hold on to that thing forever. They probably
I tried to return it, and
cancel
the
it.
owner's like, just keep it. Yeah, this guy right here. Look how old
There
that
you
thing
go.
is. But yeah, I would go in, and it was literally just like me and my 10-year-old little brother, and we would just like go in there and pretend like we knew what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad would sometimes come and teach us actually like what to do, but no high schoolers, nobody. It was
Never.
just old people, and then me and my little brother. And now, I would say like probably 40% of high schoolers in there.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's amazing.
It's kind of cool.
Speaking of high schoolers, this kid that I worked out with today,
Yeah.
his name's Hayden.
Yeah.
Have you looked at his Instagram?
Never met him, but I saw your post with him today.
So his Instagram is hpar.gymspiration. I need to get him to change that to something. But he's called like Hayden the Phenom. He's 15 years old. He's 6 feet tall. And he's 180 pounds in the morning. I talked to him today. And he is
He's a freshman.
lean. Yeah. Like, he is shredded.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he looks good.
He's Z's 2.0.
He has, I told him today, what's amazing is that he's super humble. And he's also very mature. He's very humble. He's very mature. But he has the freakiest genetics I've ever seen in my entire life.
180 at 15. And what do you think he's like 12%?
That's like a lean,
lean,
small taper. I saw him today. I put him at like 10%. He looked lean to me. Like his legs are lean too.
So you take that guy down to 3%, get him on stage. He's weighing 165. If you keep all of his muscle mass. So, but which is not like huge, but he's 15 years old.
It literally makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Like I have to envision where I was at 15 years old to just realize how crazy it is because I treat him like a 19-year-old. Yeah. But he's 15. He's a freshman in high school.
I would never guess.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like I legitimately, I was working out with him today, and the entire time I'm just thinking, like, this kid is like the next Chris Bumstead. I'm like, this kid has like Chris Bumstead genetics, and like he's going places. Like that's literally all I could think about. I'm like, this kid is.
If he sticks with it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I told him. I asked him if he partied, and I was like, you have to be so careful because I have friends. And I have seen people that have amazing genetics, and they look so good because they get into lifting at the beginning of high school, and they start to look really, really good. But then they get into partying, and then they just plateau for like 5 years, and then they go downhill. And then they try to get back into it, but it's like always half-assing it, and they never learned like that the fundamentals of the discipline, and they just and it's all wasted potential down the drain.
That's like 80% of people later in high school and then after, like especially in college, you see those guys get really excited about having access to a college gym, freshman, sophomore year, and then they start to get into partying.
Yep.
And they just never come back.
Yeah. Well, because you're not sleeping at all. You get into partying or gaming, and like gaming, you're not sleeping at all. You're not eating right. It's like you fall off.
Partying, you get the drunchies. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I went through. Don't get me wrong. I went through my years of partying, but I always stayed in the gym, as well. Something I was fortunate about was like, it was ingrained for whatever reason. I think it's just because my dad, like from such a young age, took us all the time that I was like, I need to stay physically fit.
Yeah.
Robot about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and it just, you get that endorphin rush from
Big
the gym.
time.
So it always
cures
makes me feel
depression.
better. Yeah.
That's what it does.
But man, yeah, people who fall off, it's just a real bummer because there are those kids with all this talent, even within sport, not even just gym stuff, all this talent, but they're either like too lazy to care, or they just want to party or smoke a bunch of weed, or they just don't want to do it, and they end up just missing out on what could have been crazy opportunities, and crazy potential.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you're a teenager, stick to it. Don't party in high school.
Yeah. Be like me. Be 160 pounds. Don't drink.
Yeah.
Don't smoke.
So you said, you were telling me before this, you were telling me that you were like a professional Fortnite gamer.
For a little bit there. Yeah. I have to check on see. Let me take a look real quick. I had a bunch. Actually, I just deleted my Twitch off my phone. I had a bunch of Twitch followers at one point, and I moved to a really small town in Montana.
And what? How old were you during this?
I was fresh out of college.
Okay.
So this was my first year out of college. Just got my Cscs, got my first big boy job.
Gotcha.
I was a head strength coach at a gym, and it was just me and the owner. So I had the key to the gym, and she capped me at 30 hours. I couldn't work more than 30 hours a week because that's all she could afford me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like super busy. I had a lot of free time, and I would go work out. I'd pretty much work out at like 10 at night all the time because nobody was in there. Yeah, and like I said, I had the key, and I just blast my music. It was on Main Street, so it was pretty sick. And then I would get home at like 11 and play video games till like 2, 3 in the morning, take a nap, go work at the gym at 5 because I had 5 a.m. classes, and then I would have like split shifts because most trainers work split shifts in person. So like 5 to 8, I'd work 3 hours at the gym, and then I'd have like 8 until 2 o'clock off. So I'd just sleep, and then I'd just do it all. Like I'd work
that is so
2
interesting.
2 to 6, and then do it all over again, man. So it was a good go while I was doing it, but I got so good at Fortnite because I had no friends. The average age of people down in Hamilton was it was like people who were retired and then high school kids. So there was no college, no college around. It was far enough away from the other college towns in Montana that nobody was down there, and it was just like me. There was one other kid that was just graduated high school that I would sometimes hang out with. But other than that, it was just like me. And so I got really into streaming. I don't even find my Twitch anymore. But regardless, I got kind of a decent following on Twitch playing Outlast, like scary video games.
Interesting. That seems to be a really popular thing
so
right now.
I would get every time on the weekends I'd play, and my little brother would come down and visit sometimes, and we would every time we'd get scared, we'd take a shot. So that's like kind of how I started to get a following.
That's awesome.
So the scarier, the more drunk you get, the more scared you get. And then I was always good at Fortnite because I got into it before there was even seasons. So like we were still like in the beta. So I was playing it when like before Ninja started playing it, I was playing Fortnite.
That's crazy.
So I got pretty good at it, and then they had all these like free to enter tournaments that Epic would put on, and I'd already been playing it for like 2.5 years. So I started entering those tournaments just to see how I would do, and I'd make like the top 100, and I would be like, okay, maybe if I put some time into this, I can make some money out of it. And that's what I ended up making, like just beer money. But I had like a couple subs on Twitch, and really wanted to be a streamer for a while, and then I was like, don't really see this going anywhere. So
interesting.
Moved back to Bozeman.
That's awesome. Fortnite and Outlast.
Yeah.
Or Outcast.
Outlast. And then Yeah, I mean, just all the scary games. You could like Resident Evil.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
No Five Nights at Freddy's. We never got to that one. But that one would have been fun.
That is very, very interesting.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I haven't played video games in like almost half a year now. So
Wow.
It's a big change. I've been dedicated to bodybuilding.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
it's
man.
crazy to watch you morph back and forth between 250 pounds. Wait, how many pounds have you lost on this prep?
I was 240
Okay.
at my biggest, and I was at my lightest. I was 182 and a half. So the math on that is about 60 pounds. Yeah,
That's crazy.
58
And
pounds.
and I know that you probably lost some of that weight before you actually started prep, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so how much weight, or how many months did it take you to lose that 60 pounds? Like total, because I know that's not like the full length of your prep.
Like 6, 7 months.
6, 7 months. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a lot of time.
I did a 20-week prep this time.
Okay.
So the first 4 weeks were a little sloppy, just kind of getting into the groove again. And then it was like a legit, didn't miss a meal for 16 weeks.
Nice.
And now I haven't missed a meal for 18
That's
weeks,
so crazy.
which is nuts. So
I can't believe that.
yeah, it's a long time.
Oh
But
my god.
it's worth it, man. I will say, if you do have a coach and you do trust your coach, and they write you a meal plan, listen to it.
Stick to it.
Because there's a reason why they have you doing the things you're doing. Like every now and then he would make me eat more for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I'd be like, I'm like not gonna be losing weight, and then I would lose weight anyway. I'm like, how do you know? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? How are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
But it's just
That goes to show how big of a role a coach can play.
Yeah, you definitely have to trust your coach though. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a bunch of coaches out there that are probably great coaches, but if their athletes don't trust them, then it's not going to work for either of them.
Yeah.
It gives the coach a bad rap, and then it also gives the athlete kind of a bad taste in their mouth about that coach. So
Yeah, I bet.
that's how it goes. But yeah, you've never had a coach, have you?
I have not. I have been self-coached
thought
so
about
far. I've only done 2 shows, so yeah. And the first one I didn't even compete in the open class.
You
But
didn't really even like do a full prep.
no, it was like 8
You're like,
weeks.
yeah,
It was like an 8-week prep.
I remember you just
I
showed
was-
up to the ridge one day and you're like, I think I'm gonna do it.
I felt like shit, dude. I felt like shit. This year, completely different.
Yeah.
I
You're
loved
much
every
happier.
second except for 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out when I was going through that anxiety stuff, that was terrible. But
Yeah.
the rest of my prep was just smooth sailing. I love losing 1 pound a week. Just losing like 1 to 2 pounds a week
That's so healthy.
is
too.
like, I felt better and better, and I
Yeah.
looked better and better as time went on, and it was just, it felt so good.
That's what I tell, because I coach lifestyle clients a lot of the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they expect, some of them have really like crazy expectations of, because they've done these fad diets before, these,
Yeah.
like, water fasts. Like, I used to lose 7 pounds a week.
Yeah,
And
or they
then-
did keto, and they're
Yeah.
like, I lost 10 pounds,
Yeah,
and it's
and
like,
then they come to
no,
me
it was
and
water.
they're like, it's been 3 weeks and I've only lost 6 pounds. And I was like, that's perfect. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's like,
You're
if anything, that's
okay.
too much. Dial it back.
You're doing great. Like, honestly, 2 pounds a week is like the cap is what
Yeah.
I want you at. 'Cause,
Yeah, you don't want to lose any more than
yeah,
that.
Exactly.
That's
Otherwise, we're
that is
losing-
perfect.
We're losing muscle. So, but it's so crazy, like people's expectations on what's healthy weight loss
Yeah,
compared to what's normal. And 1 pound a week is, especially if you have a lot of muscle and you're like trying to preserve it, that's perfect.
yep,
Like 1 to 1.5 pounds. So
yeah.
that's great. Yeah, and you seemed so much more energetic.
I felt so good.
Yeah.
I was cruising. I love prep because I'm so on my stuff. I'm
Yeah,
so
isn't it crazy?
structured,
Your
and I
mindset
get
is
so much work done outside
Yeah.
of bodybuilding too.
Yeah.
Like when my life, like I said, I'm one of those people that likes to juggle a lot of things.
Yeah.
But when I have a good like rhythm and structure, that is when I get all my stuff
yeah,
done.
man.
Like I can work my butt off and feel amazing.
It's because
So,
everything's organized.
I was like,
The meals
this
are
prep,
alright,
I would wake up at like 6 in the morning. I would do like cold shower, and then
Yeah.
I'd get to work by like 7 o'clock, and then I would work till like 2:30 managing at my train job, and then I would go to a high school, Petra, and I would teach a kid's class,
Yep.
and then I would drive over to Access Fitness, the gym, and then I would do training sessions over there
That's right.
till like
forgot
6:30,
about that.
and then I would work out from 6:30 till like 8:30, and then I would come home and be in bed
Do it
by
again,
10,
man.
and then just boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, getting 10,000 steps a day, 6 meals a day, just
crushing
like feeling like Superman.
I forgot you worked over at Access. I
Yeah.
saw you over there a few times. That's right.
Yep.
That's funny. Do you still work there?
So they've had like some change in management, and I think that they forgot that I worked there because I was gone so much this summer. But I'm gonna get it figured
go
out.
back?
I'm gonna go back. I've got a bunch of people that want coaching, so
Gotcha.
I'm excited for that.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm trying to take on more online clients too.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to build the business a little bit more because right now it's just the job that I'm at is so comfy and it's so perfect and like I love it and it's flexible and I get paid good and so it's super hard to transition.
Yeah.
Even though I know that
You don't want to do it
I
forever.
don't want to do it forever. It's great
Yeah.
managing experience too. Like I really gotta work with like people
That's
and trying to
invaluable.
like figure out how to manage them, which is like it's great experience and it's so comfy and the benefits are crazy good. The
That's
bonuses are fat and it's like it's hard to leave. So
That's I mean, we're in the same boat because I'm at a job that I don't do any managing, but I'm in a very cushy job. I work from home. It's an IT position, so they pay pretty good. It's very low maintenance. Like I get checked on maybe once a week. My boss will be like, "Hey, you still working?" And I'll be like, "Yep."
yes, sir.
As long as I'm like getting my quota done, which there's really not even a quota. It's just like as long as they can see that you're active doing things, they don't care.
That's awesome.
So
You're a millennial, right?
Yeah.
That's the dream millennial job.
It's great. And then I just started my own online coaching business in July, so I've been doing that. I quit the Ridge, and then I've been doing that on the side, and honestly, I love it, man. And so that I'm trying to make that my full-time job as well.
That's awesome.
And it's so much more rewarding than in person, in my opinion, because
Really?
you build like friendships and relationships because you're talking with these people every day, as opposed to just like seeing them for an hour and they're gone out of your life.
Yeah.
I talk with my clients as much as they want to talk to me. So,
That's awesome.
like part of the reason I went to Helena this weekend, not only was it my dad's birthday, but one of my clients lives in Helena and he's like, let's meet up for coffee, you know? So I'm more than happy to go like hang out with these guys because I've got to get to know them and they want to see you in person as well, but they also just like they're at some point they just become your friend.
They're just your
Which
buddy.
is just awesome. Yeah. So.
They pay you to be their friend.
Well, yeah, at some point it's just like I don't even care if you're my client anymore. I'd still hang out with you.
Yeah. No,
You're a cool
that's
dude,
so that is super, super awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love coaching, man. That's like the relational parts of coaching is so rewarding.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so tomorrow you head out to Pittsburgh. You get to start your carb up, correct? Or wait,
Yes.
that's
so
the day
I
after.
start off. So today's Saturday. I don't know when this is coming out. So
Okay.
but Sunday is carb up start. So I'll wake up probably around 4 or 5 because I can't sleep. And I'll be hungry. So I'll wake up 4 or 5, go to the gym, fasted cardio, do like a really quick 2-set full body workout. I don't know if have you ever done depletion workouts?
Where you're just trying to get all the glycogen out.
Yeah, you're just kind of moving for
It's just like
no
pumping it
rest, just
as much
go,
as you
go.
pumping without a pump.
Exactly, with like doing body weight squats, just trying not to fall over.
Yeah.
And then Because I have no glycogen as it is right now.
Yeah.
But, so I'll do like 2 rounds of a full body circuit, and then I'll go home, and I think my first meal, I don't know how well you know grams of potatoes, but I get like 480 grams of potatoes, which is just like a mound of potatoes, and I am very excited about it. I couldn't be more excited.
That's what's keeping you up at night.
Honestly,
those potatoes.
I was cooking them today, and I was so jacked just like watching them cook. I was like, this is so good. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. And then on Monday morning, I'll fly to Pittsburgh, get there about 2 o'clock Pittsburgh time. Which won't be too bad. And then I'll have a lot of time to kind of settle in, go grocery shopping if I need to. Stay in an Airbnb with a couple other competitors, which I met down in Colorado.
Nice.
So that's pretty awesome. Shout out to Trenton Pierce. Great competitor. He's competing in my class, I just found out.
Oh, no.
But
you're going to beat him this time.
He won the open heavyweight down in Colorado. But he also makes the classic cutoff, which is crazy.
That's amazing.
So he's a great competitor. Super good guy, too. He's saving me a ton of money with the Airbnb, so it's super nice.
That's awesome.
So hang out with those guys for a bit, and then Tuesday I've got a friend who owns a gym in Pittsburgh, so I'm gonna go say hi to him, and then kind of just play it by ear, see what my body's feeling like, and go do check-ins, and then Wednesday's show day. So
there you go. And top 2 gets a pro card, right?
Just one.
Oh, just one at this show?
Yeah, just one. So
gotta take it.
We'll see. I kind of had like 2 weeks ago as well. It's like, why am I even doing the show? I don't think I'm good enough. Yada yada. But as I get closer, and as I've gotten like stupid lean, I'm just like, I got a chance.
You are the leanest person in Montana right now.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very safe to
I've
say.
Definitely got a chance. I'm going to be undersized. I know that going in, but I present really well. I was undersized for the Colorado show, and I still got second. So,
good. And this time you're going to do the thing with your toe.
What was that?
When you do your side chest.
Oh, that's right.
You're going to poke your toe up, and it's going to make your leg look 10 times better in the side shots.
Yeah, that was a weird revelation that you saw me have.
Yeah, we were looking at photos of his dad. We were trying to replicate them, taking photos in the gym, and his dad like hit the side chest differently. He had it with like his toes up, and I had him like replicate it, and it made his thigh look twice the size and like striated from the side. So we're like, okay, we'll do that in the future.
So that would be cool.
Stick to that.
My vacuum is like very tight right now too, so I think that's gonna be sick. And then we get an extra 10 seconds on our posing routine.
Oh, nice. So 40 seconds total? Oh, sorry, a minute.
70 seconds.
A minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah, so I put together, it's basically the same routine, but just 10 seconds longer at the beginning. So it'll be cool. Awesome. I'm excited about it. I got to make finals first to do that, but after that, I've already got like a map of all the food I want to eat in Pittsburgh for the next 2 days.
Yeah, that's a good place to be. So.
It's not bad, man. I don't know too much about Pittsburgh, but there's some good looking places.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I don't know if you guys have heard of Primanti Bros, but they invented a sandwich that has like fries on it.
I was about to say that. That's a Pittsburgh thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's where we're going after the show for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the original Primanti Bros.
There you go.
Pretty jacked about that.
All right, dude. Well, I think we'll probably wrap it up there, but good luck.
Right on,
you
man.
have everybody in Montana cheering for you right now to go freaking clench this pro card. You've worked hard for it.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite over here.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to try to get you on here more often.
Yeah,
Need to start pumping these out.
We'll start chatting more about like off-season stuff and just living the bodybuilder life in Montana.
Yeah, dude. Seriously. Yeah. We're gonna build something here.
Yeah,
we're
for
gonna
sure.
the only bodybuilders in Bozeman. That's what
right.
the podcast really should be
Bodybuilders
called.
in Bozeman.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I
Of course,
appreciate
man.
it.
Yeah.
Outro time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are out.